Today we're going to be discussing the bird flu. The why, the reasons behind it. Is it real or is it not? And really, does that even matter anymore? Let's dive a little deeper. We mentioned this a few weeks ago, how this was going to take place. The migration and the mutation to get it to the point of where it's at now. And also we said that we were also going to see more noodles thrown on the wall to see which one sticks. So what is this? Is this real, something we should worry about? Or is this something like a propaganda machine? Let's jump into it and talk about it today. This video starts right now.
Can't believe I live in your thoughts. I think about you all the time, morning, evening.
Hey guys, welcome to The Max. Thank you so very much for being here today. If you are new to the channel, go down here, press subscribe, ring the bell, give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down, that's okay. But let us know what you think about the content of the video itself. And then also comment below. Put your thoughts into it, because when you put your thoughts into it, it helps us as a community to get better, to get wiser, to see other people's opinions, because it may help us understand how to be more wise and have a better common sense approach to this crazy world we live in. Now, man, don't you love spring? Don't you absolutely love spring? I love the coolness of the mornings, the beauty of the day. I'm gonna show you some gardens over the next few weeks, because we're gonna be talking about things that we're growing for prepping. I want you to be aware of it, because again, things like these kind of stories makes us go back to, are we growing enough food? Are we providing enough for ourselves? So we're gonna be talking about that in the next few weeks. Now, let's jump into it. The bird flu. We've heard about this avian flu for years. We've heard about the pig flu, the swine flu, whatever you want to call it. We have heard also, if you go back to reports, they always said there was no risk to humans. It was always basically something that dealt with just the birds, just the swine, just the whatever animal that was in. Well, mutation happens with virus. We know that. Did you know the same time they were working on the 2020 situation, the bird flu was being looked at too? Go back and do research that they were trying to figure out, could this ever mutate to humans? And remember, when we hear about them doing research and they're wondering about mutation, what are they actually doing? They are maybe manipulating it to do it for them so they can understand how mutation works. Meaning, the words that Fauci used could possibly be happening. It's function. We all know what that is. So this was already taking place from them trying to quote unquote study it. I told you a long time ago, I don't understand virology. I don't understand why we want to mutate something to see the dangers of it, when truthfully we don't even know if it would actually ever mutate. But with us playing with it, very well likely that it could easily spread. I digress. So now we know that it has jumped from animals that were raised in a very bad situation, because again, I don't believe in chicken houses or big stockyards or big pig farms that raise their animals a very conventional way, not regenerative way. So we see it jump from that, making animals sick, them killing food supplies. That makes for a more hard situation for the food supply, for people to have food during shortages. Think of millions of birds dying. Did you hear this week that they're officially shut down another chicken farm, and which is an egg producing farm, which of course will make the price of eggs go up. You know, the dairy farm situation we talked about last week. So it's now moving to livestock and then jumps to humans. So is this a SOP? Is this propaganda where they're throwing the noodles on the wall and truthfully it's nothing more than just a little sickness? Or is it something we should be worried about? It reminds me of the little story, you know, the boy who cried wolf. No matter how many things come to us, I've had this with us living in hurricane zones, where every time hurricane season starts, the meteorologists always get on there and say, this is going to be the worst of the worst hurricane seasons. And then the storm comes in and they're like, this is going to be, prepare, this is going to be the worst hurricane ever. And it brings in, like, you know, 20-mile-per-hour winds and nothing bad at all. Time after time he keeps saying that, where people almost just turn it off in their minds, say, look, this guy doesn't know, it's just going to be the same old. And then all of a sudden, catastrophically, Katrina happens and destroys everything. Now what happened? We got used to hearing the news of, well, it's bad, and actually it wasn't. So then all of a sudden, one day it was bad and destroyed everything. Now why should we heed that warning? Well, we hear that all these things are bad. This is going to be the next outbreak. This is going to be the next sickness. We hear that and we kind of wipe it off because we've dealt with things like that in the past. However, there may be one time that it could be bad. Now, is this it? Who knows? Here's my thought pattern. No matter if it's bad or not, when media is behind something, or when the government has an agenda, then therefore it doesn't matter if it's bad or not, their agenda will go forward. If they choose to shut down states, states will shut down based on the political ties to leadership. If it is bad, then the science and whatever else behind it will shut things down. If they believe it's a risk or not, you have no bearing on them killing millions of chickens or millions of cows or millions of swine. So you get what I'm saying? It doesn't matter if it's real or not. What matters is if you are dependent on that food system, if you are dependent on going to work in the liberal state, if you're dependent on what the government tells us and we're on a 24-hour news cycle, then it does not actually matter if it's real or not. Now, the panic can still ensue. The only thing that makes real or not is the devastation. If it's not a devastating outbreak, it still can affect you, because look at what 2020 did. Was not devastating, it did harm a lot of people. However, what harmed a lot of people were the repercussions and the consequences of it. Go back, do your research. If it be the preventative care that happened or the economic situation that happened, ultimately the consequence was not the actual outbreak. It was the story around it. Well, right now we're looking at another outbreak. We're also looking at measles and tuberculosis in the migrant shelters. Is any of those, kind of like the boy who cried wolf, if any of those dangerous or bad for us? They could be. They may not be. It doesn't really matter. The problem is not the outbreak. It's the panic or the propaganda or the response to it. So Colby, what are you saying? Here's what I'm saying. I treat everything I get, from the situation with Israel, from the situation with Russia, from the situation of maybe a solar flare, with the situation of maybe there's some kind of issue with the CERN situation, with the situation with, is there war on our grounds because there's terrorists crossing our borders, with the situation of a hurricane, with a storm, I prepare. And what that means is I make sure that if I can handle a sustainable and outlook in a wise way to handle any situation, I'm going to do it. Now, have I been exposed to this outbreak that's in the swine or chickens or cattle? No. But what that makes me do as a farmer, I say, okay, I'm not going to ever open my animals to another farm. I'm not going to buy animals from another farm. And I'm not going to raise my animals in a conventional way. They will be very much raised like they were in the past. Regenerative, look at all this grass. They're going to be raised on fresh grass and not in a stockyard. That's how we raise our animals, down to our chickens, our pigs, our sheep, and our cattle. So I'm preventing, hopefully, the spread into any situation. If it is bad for my animals, I'm going to protect them. If it's not bad, I'm still going to do the same thing. See, like we talked yesterday, prepping is insurance. So we learn to say, okay, no matter if it's bad or not, it does not matter. Because if we are prepared, if we are thinking everything in a mindset of wisdom and common sense and sustainability, things like this does not make us panic or worry, because we're already getting prepared for those kind of things that are taking place. There's a study that showed that less than 20% of people would consider to be prepared. Now what that means is that's actually up from 8 to 10% over the last decade. So it means people are starting to wake up to realize it doesn't matter what you're preparing for, but it's good to have some things and be a prepper. Is that something that makes me wear a tinfoil hat? No. Does that make me worry that I can't enjoy life? No. We're actually going to the movies tomorrow night. Me and the kids and Misty, if the movie is open, we're going to go because we want to say, you know what, we've worked hard, we've got gardens planted, we're going to still live. We're going to go out and go to the movies and eat some popcorn. Does that mean we live in fear? No, but it does mean if we prepare and we take care of the situations, things like this, no matter if it's real or not, we're prepared for it because we've made preparations when it comes to being wise, having a common sense approach to our food, to our water, and to our health. I just got done running 2 miles. I do that every morning. Does that make me some special person? No. I'm just saying if I want a healthier body, then there's things I'm gonna do to make myself healthier. We don't eat trash food. So when we eat popcorn tomorrow, that's not really healthy for you, but that's kind of like a holiday for us. Other than that, we're eating healthy because we don't want our body to be subservient to immunity being bad, and all of a sudden we are developing some kind of sickness. See, it doesn't matter if it's measles, tuberculosis, flu, some other virus that has yet stuck with a noodle on the wall. If we learn to say, I want a very common sense approach to threat, I want a wise outlook on the fact that there could be an outbreak or may not be, but the bottom line is people will still panic, people will still have breakdowns, people will still go crazy because they're either going to believe the news or the thing is going to be real. So therefore, I have stockpiles of things and I have preparations done because we know no matter if it's real or not, it does not matter. A hurricane can be a category 1 or category 5 here in my area, and because the news said it's going to be bad, there will be no bread, no water, no milk, no eggs, no anything on the shelf at the local Walmart. That doesn't mean that it's needed, but people just say, I'm going to go ahead and buy it just in case. But what happens is a lot of people hear that over time again, and they don't realize that one day this hurricane could be bad, and all of a sudden it destroys everything, and we were not prepared. We didn't go buy the milk and eggs. We didn't go buy the water. So is the bird flu real? Who cares? I'm saying that genuinely. Who cares? If you are prepping, you're buying things you need. You're being wise and trying to make wise decisions for you and your family. You're trying to raise your family with a healthy outlook, with doing exercises, with just enjoying time outdoors, soaking up the sun. You're building immunity. You're building a purposeful life because you're doing more than just sitting and watching TV and being lazy and not taking care of your body. When we start doing those things and we start being proactive in what we do with life, and we start being proactive in how we operate, then it does not matter. We don't have to be reactionary to an outbreak. We could just say, you know what? It comes. If it's real, we'll prepare the best way we can. If it's not real, it won't matter because we were already prepared anyway. We don't get in that panic mode. And I think the only way you're not going to get in a panic mode for the next outbreak, because remember, this is election year and there's going to be a lot of things thrown at you. So if we don't want to listen to the propaganda, we don't want to be influenced by propaganda or truth, then if you learn to start buying some things, if you learn to start having a common sense approach, if you learn to do a little extra reading, a little extra research, then it won't matter. If all of a sudden egg prices go up, just think if you had some chickens, it wouldn't affect you. If all of a sudden eggs go up, but you've been putting up eggs for a while using water glassing techniques, or preserving them through dehydration, or freezing them, it wouldn't affect you. If you've been buying that good deal of chicken because the store had discounts on it for the last few years, and you've been buying it every time and learning how to can, learning how to freeze, learning how to put it up, then it doesn't matter that price of chicken's going up. If you learn to buy from a local farmer because he has a local steer and he's wanting to sell it to you, it doesn't matter if the ground beef costs a little bit more, steaks are a lot less, and you're buying it overall for a lot cheaper, it won't affect you. See, do you get what I'm saying? If we learn to prepare in a way that builds like an insurance policy, then we won't have to fear if it's real or not, the worry of an outbreak. It's a common sense approach to look at it. I don't worry about it because we've bought the things we need. When we learn to prepare, it takes the fear out of the situation. And then ultimately, we are Christians, so we believe that God gives us the smarts, He gives us the wisdom, but also He takes care of us. His sovereign grace is important. So His grace and mercy is always watching over us too. So if we learn to put our trust in Him, He gives us a smart mind to do the things that we need to do, but at the same time, He is also protecting us, then why fear it? Why panic about it? If it comes, if it's real, we'll deal with it. If it's not, we'll deal with that too. So that's the way you need to look at this outbreak. Have a respect for it. It could be real. It may not be real. But if you prepare and have all the things that you need and you're wise and you do your own research, then it really doesn't matter if it's real or not. It doesn't matter what CNN or Fox News says. It doesn't matter what the new scientist for the CDC says. It matters for you being wise and making good decisions for you and your family. So let me know what you think. I know overwhelmingly most people are going to put in the comments, oh, it's fake, it's fear, it's not going to, it's, just propaganda. Could be. But if you're prepared, who cares? That's the way I look at it. Let me know what you think about this video, and let me know what your thoughts are. What are you doing to prepare your family for any situation, if it be real or fake? Are you taking care of those situations and making thought-provoking decisions on gaining wisdom to be the very best you can with the common sense approach to this crazy world we live in? 2024 is going to throw us a lot of curveballs. We got to be ready for them. Guys, thank you for watching. God bless. Happy homesteading, y'all.
And I've come out here to say